For this video, I'll be walking you through how to implement a graph data structure in JavaScript. This will be the last data structure implementation covered in this series, so let's go. On the previous video, intro to the graph data structure, I mentioned you can represent a graph in 3 ways: adjacency list, adjacency matrix, and an incidence matrix. But for this implementation, I'll be using the adjacency list, which is a map of the vertex to all the vertex it is connected to. The reason I love graph data structure implementation is that you will use other data structures to implement it. I'll be using queue, set, map, stack, and tree data structures to build this, and I recommend you checking those videos in this channel in case if something goes over your head, but I'm assuming you know about them coming into this video. I'll start by creating a class with a private vertices set and a private adjacency list, which it will be a map. Now I'll add a method that adds vertices and it takes a vertex. So if one is passed, I'll go ahead and add it in the vertices set. Then set it in the adjacency list map, and its value will also be a set. The reason I am using a set here is to ensure everything is unique and save me from doing any checks prior to insert it. Next, I'll create a method that allows us to add edges, and an edge would be a line or relationship between vertices. It will take 2 vertices, vertex 1 and 2, and a third argument to indicate whether it is a direct or not. If the vertex are not nil and are different from each other, I'll first check if the adjacent lists do not contain them and add them using the outVertex method. Then I'll add vertex 2 to vertex 1 adjacency list. This graph implementation does not allow a vertex to point to itself, although it is possible to have vertices point to themselves. This will create a line from vertex 1 to vertex 2. If it is directed, which is the default, I'll create a line from vertex 2 to vertex 1 as well. Before we try this, I'll add 2 getters, one for vertices, which will return an array from this vertices set, then an adjacent list, which inside I'll create an empty object and iterate over the map entries and using the keys for the object, and the value will be an array from the value, which is also a set. Then I'll return the list. These getters return an array and an object, which are the most used data structure in JavaScript, instead of forcing anything outside of the graph to use these sets and maps. Now I'll instantiate the graph and proceed to print the vertices and adjacent list. Then I'll add some vertices and edges as well. As you can see, so far everything looks good. To better show the graph, I'll create a toString method that iterates over the adjacent list map and concatenates a string of the key and comma separated values and then return the string. Now, instead of logging the vertices and adjacent list, I'll call the toString method to see the graph adjacent list string. With that, we have our graph data structure, and to make it more interesting, I'll create an array with all the letters in the alphabet by using array from and set 26 for the length. This will create an array of 26 empty items. I'll provide a callback to populate the array, and I'll call from char code on the string object and pass the index plus 65 because in the ASCII table, the alphabet uppercase starts from 65 to 90. Next, I'll create a random index function expression that takes a max and a min, even though I'm not going to use min, and returns the formula for creating a random number in a range, which is math random times the max plus the min, and I'll math floor pretty much everything. Now I'll go over the alphabet array, calling the graph add edge method, passing it the letter for the first vertex, and use the random index to grab random letter in the alphabet array. Like that, we get a random graph, which we can use for the iterations for the graph. Now let's look at how the graph traversing works. Given a graph with these 6 vertices, and let's say I want to traverse this graph from the letter A. We can go about it two ways, either using a breadth or depth first search algorithm. If you watch my 3 data structure implementation video, I implement a version of this to find things in the tree. So when you do a breadth first search, you check all adjacent nodes first before visiting them. As you check, you create a queue of vertex to check next. For this example, all nodes are green. When I check them, I make them yellow, and when I check all of these adjacent vertex, I'll mark them as red. So starting from A, I'll check B and D and create a queue of what to check next. And since I check all the vertex, I'll mark A red as completed, and by the queue I have here, I'll visit B next. There, I'll skip A since I already checked it, and then check E and F, adding them to the queue. Since I finished checking B, I'll mark it red and dequeue it, continuing to the next in the queue, which is D. I'll just mark D red and dequeue it since all adjacent vertex was checked. Same for E. Then in F, I'll check C, queue C for next, then mark F as red and then dequeue it, and finally check C. On left in black, we see the order of how these vertex were visited. And note that we only checked green vertices. This algorithm makes sure we only visit a vertex once and still visit all of them. So for breadth first search, we keep a queue of vertices to check next. If we try the depth first search, things work differently. Here we keep a stack of vertices to check next. And as soon as we check a vertex, we visit it. So starting from A, I'll mark it yellow and stack it. Check, stack, and visit B. Check, stack, and visit E. Check, stack, and visit D, which now I'll mark red since it is complete, then pop it from the stack. Since the next in stack is E, we check it and mark it as a complete, popping it from the stack as well. Checking B, we check, stack, and visit F. Then check, stack, and visit C, marking it red and pop it out since all its adjacent vertex was visited already. We now complete F, B, and finally A. With that first search, we start from A, but only was able to complete it at the end after visiting everything first. We go deep first, hence the name. The difference in an order of vertex visited is not much for this example, but different situations call for different ways to traverse. Let's implement this starting with the breadth first search. I'll create a function for breadth first search that takes a graph, a vertex to start from, and a callback. Then I'll deconstruct the vertices and adjacent lists from the graph. If there are no vertices, I'll just quit early. Then I'll create a color object from the vertices. By reducing it and setting all of them to be green. I'll continue by creating a queue, which will be an array, and push the front vertex into it to start. While this queue is not empty, I'll take the first item in the queue and its adjacent vertex as well. First thing I'll do is color it yellow as partially explored, and for its near vertex, I'll check if the vertex is green and color it yellow as well, and proceed to enqueue the vertex. After that, the vertex is fully visited, so I'll color it red and call the callback with the vertex if one is provided. On this side here, we see it visit all of the vertex by first going through all the vertex adjacent lists. If we had a map and wanted to find a location nearby, the breadth first search would be great as it checks nearby first. And because it uses a queue internally, what if we queue things by something like the distance, direction, etc.? It will allow us to look using a certain criteria to ensure control of traversing. For the depth first search, we will use a lot of this, and it's actually much easier to implement. So similar function taking same arguments and doing same things initially. I'll start by calling the callback and coloring it yellow. For each adjacent vertex, I'll call a visit function. I'll create next, which takes a vertex, and it is a recursive function. If the vertex is green, I'll call the callback with it, then set it to be yellow, and continue from its adjacent vertex, then I'll make it red. Now, if we try this, we get the expected traversing result, and we see here it traversed in a different order, ensuring that it visits the deepest node first before coming to complete the node. Make sure to subscribe to check later videos on various algorithm implementation. Leave a like or a comment if you enjoyed this video. Once again, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.